What up, everybody? Johnny Ward with another episode of the Nerdyverse of Madness. This week I have an interview with book blogger extraordinaire Kira, aka Thathorrorbish. If you listened to my first episode, you may or may not remember me talking about how in the summer of 2023 I was pretty active on the Bookstagram side of Booksta, rather of Instagram, and I just tended to read a lot of horror. Within that community, I did meet quite a few pals, Kira being one of them, also Tobin Elliott, who was my first interview on the series, as well as the author Chaz Williams, who I hope to get on here very soon. I need to reach out to him, and I need to do that soon. And he was actually a reviewer when I first came on. He wasn't an author. The Bookstagram community overall is wonderful, but the horror Bookstagram community is wonderful, and Book Talk as well. Kira came from TikTok and then moved to Instagram, as she talks about in the episode, but there's just so many wonderful people online in there, and the horror community is really niche. There is a little bit of drama from time to time. There was a really divisive issue actually in the summer of 2023 that I make a little backhanded comment about that you may or may not catch. I don't want to get involved. I tend to stay away from drama when I can, and then sometimes I don't, as you probably know that anytime I see anyone say anything negative about The Last Jedi, I get really confrontational, but I am going to digress if I go down that route. I haven't met, but I started chatting with Kira, I don't know, July, August. I don't even know. I probably commented on some recommendation that she made, asked a question about it. I don't know. Just as it is on social media and the reviewer or fandom community, no matter what your fandom is, you just kind of make those connections. You kind of see what people are recommending, talking about, see if you jive with opinions. And I mean, you all know how connecting on social media is. And now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure her review of Bad Blood by Tobin Elliott is the first time I heard about it, which sent me down a rabbit hole of one of my favorite book series of all time. I can sense myself starting to ramble, so I'm going to get right into it. I'm so happy that I got the opportunity to talk to Kira. She's an amazing reviewer. She's authentic, she's honest, and she don't take no shit from anyone. And it's really refreshing when the internet is full of people that aren't authentic. Dare I say fake. But yeah, so let's get into it.
In nerddom is at an all-time high. Where once we hid in our parents' basements, everyone is stepping out into the light and embracing fandoms with a newfound vigor. One man hopes to gather and speak with them all. This is the place where all fans can come and discuss the things they love, the things they hate, and maybe, just maybe, discover something new to devote all their time to. Welcome to the Nerd Podcast to rule them all. Prepare to fall into the Nerdyverse of Madness.
Hey guys, Johnny Ward here with the Nerdyverse of Madness, and I have a wonderful guest today. I have Thathorrorbish Kira, book blogger extraordinaire. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a busy morning.
Yeah,
It's the warmest February I think I've ever experienced in Canada for a really long time.
it's been insane. Like something is wrong, but I'm not exactly mad at it.
No, no, I'm not mad at it at all. So, uh, let's tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I guess back in 2022, I decided to get back into reading because I had not really read much for about 10 years. Used to be a really avid reader as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm just going to read one book a month. And then I read 40. And then I decided to kind of start my journey here. I think I started on Twitter originally and then made my way to TikTok and Instagram and just wanted to post books that I was reading because I saw a lot of people talking about the same books over and over again, and I wanted to put some light on indie books, and here we are today, a year later.
Yeah, so when you started reading that month with the 40 books, did you jump right into extreme horror or was it kind of a gradual thing? Like how did you get to splatterpunk and
Yeah, so my first book that I read of that year was Tender is the Flesh, which was
okay.
definitely a new, like, not exactly extreme, but definitely veering towards it. And I really enjoyed it. I read it on the flight home from Mexico. And after that, I was like, hey, let me see what else is out there. And I saw books in the freezer talk about The Summer I Died. And she was like, it's horrific. It's like something I would put in the freezer. It scared the shit out of me. And I was like, okay, I'm interested. And I would say that that was my first jump into extreme horror. And I was disgusted. Like I was reading the book and I was like making sounds like, oh my God, like just totally terrified. But
Yeah.
then when I put the book down, I was like, I need more of this. And that kind of jump started my journey into the extreme and into splatterpunk for sure.
Okay. And so when you're reading a book, what kind of things are you looking for? Just like extreme, disgusting, typical stuff?
It depends on my mood. I say if I'm looking into extreme, I want something that's jam-packed with action. I want, well-developed characters. It doesn't feel like it's just, you know, front to back gore, but you don't actually care.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to care about the characters. But yeah, I mean, the more disturbing, the better. I think like a really good example of that is No One Rides for Free by Judith Sonnet.
Oh,
It just punched me in the face. And
yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for in extreme horror. It's the perfect example.
Yeah, I was sitting around a pool with my wife and I'm reading it and she looks up at me and I must have had it all over my face. She's like, "Are you okay over there?" I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Absolutely disgusted, but it was so good
It was
because I
so
did care about the characters and it was so short, very short read, but
mhm.
within that time frame, Judith really made me care about those characters.
Exactly. Yeah. I think she wrote it and published it in 10 days, which
Yes.
floors me. Like how she was able to create something so visceral
Yeah.
in such a short period of time. Just genius, honestly.
Yeah, I think she did the same thing with Magic, which I have not read yet,
I think she
but
did. Yeah. I read it. I liked it. It wasn't quite as impactful to me as No One Writes for Free, but yeah, still really good.
yeah, she said she's going to come on, so I'm gonna kind of explore that a little bit more.
Oh, that would be amazing.
So you started on Twitter
Hmm.
and then you moved to Instagram and TikTok. Was it TikTok first, Instagram first, a little
It
bit
was
of both?
TikTok. It was TikTok first. I think I was on, so I started my TikTok on like the 1st of January. And one of my first videos went viral, which I was not expecting. And it was just one of the videos I was showing books and, putting little descriptions. And then I was like, all right, well, I need to keep this momentum. And I was able to grow it pretty quick in the first month. And then it was actually Steve Strudd that told me I should get on Instagram. So I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I don't want to be on every social media. It's too much work. And it's funny because now I actually prefer Instagram. So shout out to Steve.
Yeah, I haven't read anything of his yet. I think I have Incarnate upstairs somewhere, and then I kind of forgot about it because I buy too many books. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll get that, and they build up. But
Yeah,
you're a
but
big fan of his, right?
oh yeah. Steve was one of the first authors that like sent me an arc. Because we were kind of going back and forth on Twitter before I even started anything, and he was coming out with Churn the Soil. And I was like, hey, would I be able to buy a copy off you? And he sent me a copy, and he really kind of propelled me into what I'm doing right now. One of the first people to, support me and send me a book. So definitely great friendship there.
Yeah, the Bookstagram community, or rather the online book community, is just so fantastic. I mean, met so many wonderful people, yourself included. I mean, have you had any negative interactions online?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I mean, bookstagrammers or book talkers, I've had a couple little run-ins there, and a couple with some authors too, mostly related to, honestly, the like book reviewing. I have some strong opinions about it. I think it's changing, which I really like to see. I see way more people being honest about the books that they're reading, whether they like it or they don't like it, just being open and honest. But when I came in here, and even in 2022, before I really started sharing my journey, all I saw was 5 star, 4 star, 5 star, 4 star. And I was like, it's a bunch of horseshit. There's no way you're reading plus books a year and you like every single one of them. And I think I made a video, well, like May or June of last year, where I just like called that out, and I ruffled a few feathers, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was listening to 50 Cent on the way here, and then I felt a little strange because I'm not from New York, and
How did
I
you
won't I won't
how
talk
were
about
you able
that,
to listen to that? I don't understand, from Ontario.
right? I don't know. Do you ever feel like recommending these books is going to create any issue? I mean, you're pretty clear about what you like to read, but do you ever get concerned someone might come on and pick up No One Reads for Free or Rides for Free after reading some Hojo or something or
Um,
Coho?
I don't know that I would say I'm concerned about it. I think that, I've definitely gotten messages from people, specifically Womb or No One Rides for Free, where they'll come back into the comments and be like, what the fuck was that? And like, that was like disgusting. That was just for shock value. But I think, like anything else in the community, as like a book reviewer or even an author, what have you, when someone finds this community, they've probably read just like a lot of Stephen King and a lot of stuff that you're just going to find on the shelves at like, Chapters Indigo. Um, and they don't really understand what extreme is. And it's going to be one or the other. You're either going to read it and be like, holy shit, where has this been my entire life? Or you're going to be like, oh my God, that just traumatized me. There's really no in between. So I mean, I say check trigger warnings. I'm pretty open about what I like, and
Yeah. Yeah.
if people stumble there, they're big, they're big boys and girls. I'm sure they can figure it out for themselves.
Now, on the flip side of that, have you ever suggested something to someone who does read not extreme horror and then they just came back to you and absolutely loved it and said, "Where have has this been all my life?" Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I get that more often than not. But I definitely preface, like I've got a couple of friends, within this community that I recommended No One Rides for Free, and they're like, yeah, that totally traumatized me, but in the best way. So I think I'm pretty open about what I like and what I read, and most people know that going into it if they're going to pick up something of mine that I recommend, not something of mine, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yet. Yet.
yeah, maybe one day.
So, what are your favorite kind of tropes when obviously we discussed gory stuff. Like what are some of the things that you read and you're like, that is what I'm looking for in a book? Obviously, Warrior Retreat is one of them. You're very vocal about that, but
Hmm. You know what? I think it's kind of changing right now, which is interesting. I just read Ein Hollow, which is coming out on February 22nd, and I'm currently reading The Reformatory. And I was thinking back last year, I read The Residence by Steve Strud, and it wasn't one of my favorites. I don't think me and Steve, not Steve Strud. I said Steve
You
because
did. You did.
because he loves Andrew Piper. I think the two just like they're like this now. No, The Residence by Andrew Piper. I don't necessarily love his writing style, but I did actually enjoy that book. And I think I have like a preference right now for historical horror, which is shocking me because it's not where my preferences have been over the last couple of years. But I really like that trope right now. I really like revenge tropes. I think that's really good for, extreme horror. A lot of extreme horror has that trope, and I
Yeah.
love it. Um, Also, folklore. I love a good folklore. Those are probably like my top three right now.
Okay. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Ein Hollow because you've been very vocal about it. You just read it and you're kind of amazed by how different it is than your normal reads.
Yeah, it's not extreme in the classical sense. You're not going to get a whole bunch of like gore and like really disturbing content, but I think it's the way that he took something so real life and made it extreme. There's a scene in it, like a birthing scene, that is like one of the most horrific things I've ever read, but it's like real, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he did there, short of magic. Like, I don't know what he was smoking when he wrote that book, but like, I need some of that. It was just so, I don't know, it was so personal. Like, I really felt like I was experiencing the story through the main character, Agnes. Like, I felt like I was her. And it was just something really, really special, like nothing I've ever read before.
Oh, wow. And that's coming out next month? This
Yeah,
month.
this month, end
We're
of
in
the month
February. Yeah.
on the 22nd. Yeah.
Okay. Now I gotta say, it impresses me how easily you're able to do not finish something. Because I mean, me myself, I need to know how something, even if I'm kind of meh about it, if it's caught my curiosity, I want to know what happens. And I know there's people out there reading 350-page books, even though every single page is utterly traumatizing them. And then there's you who will just Ariana Grande it and thank you next
Thank
is
you.
just on to the next one.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I've honed in on over the last year. I was the same. I really didn't like quitting books. There was a Neville book that I was reading for 5 years. Like I refused to quit. I would jump back into it, and every single time I would just put it aside. I just don't have time for that. In short, I just kind of had to be like, listen, I want to get a certain amount of books into this month, but if I keep just forcing this and reading like 20 pages at a time, I'm never going to get through it. I'm going to put myself in a slump. And so I just kind of got to a point where if I'm like 20, 30% in and I do not care to pick up that book, then it's got to go. Got to go. I don't have time.
Yeah, the time is fleeting. There's not enough of it at all. I need to learn. I guess it's a skill because I should really learn how to do
You
that.
know what I learned? I leaned a lot at the beginning when I was like finding more courage to DNF on Chaz. I would go to him and be like, Chaz, I really don't like this book. I hate it. I don't want to read it no more. And he'd be like, so quit it. And then that was like, okay, so somebody else gave me the green light. So I am now quitting the book. So can lean on your friends too to encourage you to quit it.
All right, I'll send you a message then.
Definitely.
So, are there any books that you see 5 star, 4 star, everyone's telling you to read, and you start and you just did not quite jive with it?
Yeah, I would say most of the time, like if a book is going really viral, I don't tend to like it, with a few exceptions, obviously. Like The Reformatory is like everybody loves it, and I'm also really loving it. But like Our Share of the Night or Our Share of Night, I saw that one last year and it was making its rounds. Everybody loved it. And the writing was good, but like it really could have been 300 pages shorter. Um, there's a lot of like Stephen King. I can't get into King anymore, even though he was like my introduction into adult horror in novels.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like anytime I pick up a book that everybody really loves, I end up just being really disappointed by it. So for the most part, like I tend to stay away. Because even last year with like Boys in the Valley, meh. Our Share of the Night, meh. There was that book that came out, Fever. The one with the hand. I'm forgetting right now what it was called, like a hand like this. It was like Fever something meant like all the big,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, all the big releases. They didn't do it for me. But I think it's because I live more in the extreme world of horror that these mainstream horror books are just missing that element for me.
Okay. Are there any books that you didn't see anywhere else? You just kind of discovered on your own, either like an Amazon suggestion or something that you absolutely fell in love with and then can't stop talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say there was so just before I started posting and being on socials, I saw on Amazon The Spread by Ian Robright, and it was on sale for like $9, the first book. So I was like, that sounds cool. I really like zombies, and it was really, really good. And I just finished the series last year. There's 6 books in it. And when I started talking about it, people were like, I've never heard of this. Where did you find this? But Ian Robright is like really prolific. Like he has so many books. I think that he just hasn't become as popular in North America yet. Like he's obviously well known within the author community, but for some
Yeah.
reason, I don't see people talking about his books, and his books are really, really, really good. I would, yeah. So Amazon put me onto him.
Okay, okay. What other series? Because yeah, I know you used to use you usually use it to get out of your slumps.
Yeah.
Now you're done the series. What are you going to do for your next slump?
I have no idea. I just had a slump just recently. I think what I'm going to do now is work my way through Michael R. Goodwin's repertoire. I really like, so he's very different in the sense like it's not very extreme, but his horror is like really cozy and comfy to me.
Okay.
I don't know if you read The Ritual by him. He has a lot of short stories or smaller novellas.
Oh, no, I haven't.
No, I would recommend, like, they're kind of Christmas themed, but you could read them whenever.
Okay.
He creates these like really amazing worlds, and they're like set in the 16 and the 1700s. And so you've got that folklore, like witches and like witchcraft and like weird occurrences. And I found out recently by talking to him that a lot of his short stories are kind of based in the same world. Not all of them, but a group. And so that's kind of what I leaned on
Okay.
this month. I just went right into a couple of short stories, and they helped me right out of my slump.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I saw you saying you were the ritual. You recently read a short story that was part of that world that you didn't realize,
Yeah,
correct? Yeah.
Pharaohs. Mhm.
Sparrows, yeah. It was your second last of this last month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got it.
Well, I guess we should take this time to select a word
Oh, yeah.
for our giveaway. I just realized right now that I didn't think of anything. So,
Me neither.
oh,
Hmm. A word for the giveaway. It should be like kind of related. What about like leech?
leech. That's it. That's it. Okay.
Let's do that.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do it. When you started reading Stephen King, that kind of got you into horror.
Mhm.
It's even though it's a different kind of horror. Do you think that extreme horror and splatterpunk kind of helps you explore a side of yourself that is important to explore?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, getting a little deep here, I have quite a bit of trauma from my childhood. I suffer with complex PTSD. And I think that I've always liked extreme horror, even in movies. Like I was watching Saw when it came out. I think I was like 9 years old. Like I've always loved gory and extreme horror. And I think in a sense, it's kind of like a safe place for me, as fucked as
Okay.
this may be. I like books that kind of trigger my fight or flight, that kind of explore themes of revenge and violence, because there is some of that in me. I mean, like I'm like a 9 to 5 mom, I'm like as it can be, but
Yeah, yeah.
I think that it does help me express, the more angry, traumatized parts of myself in like a healthy manner. I'm not out here in these streets fighting people, but the books help me get through some of those stronger emotions for sure. And I definitely have a connection with some of those books that I read.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the Warrior Retreat when I read your review on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I connected with that book so much because, it's not really like wall to wall gore. It's definitely more in the last quarter of the book, but you kind of get like a bird's eye view into all the characters' different experience with their PTSD and their different stages of where they are in it. And just, I connected with it so much. Like I've been in every single one of those stages. And so like shit started to happen in the book, I was so connected to those characters that it was so gut wrenching for me.
Yeah, I really liked how he explored how all of these people went through the exact same scenario, and every single one of them dealt with it a little differently or was affected by it a little bit. Some obviously went real deep down the rabbit hole, and then others that were just kind of okay with it. And I loved that part of the book for sure.
Very,
So much.
yeah, absolutely.
Now, he also wrote a Christmas one.
Christmas Eve Carnage.
Yeah, was that one good?
Oh yeah, that was so much fun. Really interesting little story. And like I tried to explore a lot of different Christmas horror this year or last year I should say, because I didn't really do that the year before. And most of what I read I didn't enjoy. I found it to be like really kind of cheesy and gimmicky, but like the Christmas Eve Carnage was really fun. And again, like he does a really good job. I feel like his style of writing is very obvious to me. Like I feel like if I was reading it without knowing it was John, I would know because he does
Okay.
this really fantastic job of building up these characters. And even though it's slower in a sense, like it's kind of like a slow burn to the, more extreme stuff, it just flows so well and you become connected to these characters. And he did that the exact same thing with Christmas Eve Carnage, which I feel was lacking in the other, Christmas horrors that I was reading.
And was that one of those your reading group books? Or
No, no, I should have done that one in retrospect, but it just was the timing. I think that he didn't release it until the 22nd. And usually we start group reads on the first of the month. So we did Return of the Living Elves. And it was my first group read that I did not make it through. I did not finish it. It was pretty bad.
okay. Now, was group read something, book clubs, anything you did before finding this online community or
No, no, not really. It's actually my buddy on here, one of my first friends on here, Beyond Horror, reached out to me pretty early on and was like, "Hey, I'd like to start a Discord, maybe do some like group reads, just a little community." And I had no idea what a Discord was, but I was open to modding and we started this little community and now we do group reads every other month and it's a lot of fun. I have a bad curse though. I tend to not like any of the group reads that we go into. But it's so fun to read with people. It's definitely been a really cool experience.
yeah, Andrew Piper was your last one, right?
Yeah, I did that one with Steve Strud,
Okay.
not in our actual like group. Right now we're reading Psychic Teenage Bloodbath.
Right, I saw that
Mhm.
by Carl,
John
multiple first names guy.
It slips me up every time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
hmm
yeah. I want to check that one out because I had suggested the Horror House of Perversion, which you had just finished last month, and I felt kind of the same way as you did. It was middle ground. It was good.
Yeah.
I found it kind of obvious. I felt like there could have been a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, but I felt like there was potential as if he was just kind of reaching his stride or finding his voice, so to speak.
So far in Psychic Teenage Bloodbath, I'm really enjoying it. I feel like the characters in Horror House of Perversion were a little rushed to me, but I feel like he was going for that like cheesy B movie, which he got in those characters for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but I just feel like the characters are a little bit more like he put a little bit more time into them. In this one, I
Okay.
haven't quite gotten to like, I just started the book, but I can tell already it's much better.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, so if someone were looking to get into the genre, um, what would you suggest that they pick up?
Oh, I'm different. I would say just go, balls to the wall and just go in with something really crazy. I don't know, like if you're gonna go into extreme horror, I don't know about getting your toes wet. I think it's better to just jump into the deep end so you can experience what extreme horror is. Because if you're going in soft, then you might have an expectation and then you might get, rocked with something. I would say like you want to go into extreme horror, go in with Womb. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
Womb was my introduction to it for sure.
Yeah. It's the one. I have a couple books, but Womb was like I read The Summer I Died, and then I
Okay.
went directly into Womb, and I read it in one sitting, and I almost threw up. Like genuinely, I had to put the book down because I got extremely nauseous, and then I finished the rest of the book, and I was like, "What the fuck was that? Give me more of that." So go
Yeah,
just jump into something. I'd say Womb. No One Rides for Free. You could go into like the warrior retreat. I think that would be like a softer, you
that
know,
would be softer. Yeah.
because you do get like that character build up. You do get that like kind of more mainstream horror, but then you get like, rocked at the end.
Yeah.
But definitely just if you're gonna go extreme, just go extreme.
Yeah. After I wrote or after I read Womb, I wrote in my review that what Psycho does for showers and Jaws does for the water, Womb does for vaginas, and he thought that was hilarious. I sent it to Duncan as well, and he
Oh
was
my
quite
God.
fond of that.
That is like a really perfect description. I think reading it as a woman, or as somebody with a vagina, you're just gonna be so fucking disturbed. It's funny though, is I met Duncan in May at the Andrew Piper event, and
Okay.
he's just such a nice, sweet guy, and you would never in a million years, like if you met Duncan and you didn't know about Womb, you would have no idea that he would be able to write something so disturbing.
Yeah, we got Canadians have rather the community has a lot of amazing Canadians. Like I think it's
Absolutely.
great. I mean, you, myself, because I'm awesome, Dunk,
Yeah.
Duncan, Tobin.
Hmm.
It's I wonder what it is about Canada that instills horror
I don't know.
creativity.
And it's funny that you mentioned that because when I first started reading, before I
Mhm.
joined the community really, and I was kind of just like popping in and out to get, recommendations on what to read, I was like complaining to my husband. I'm like, we don't have anything in Canada. There's no like cons. There's like no good like authors here. And it was before I discovered indie. And when I got into this world, I was like, oh no, like really amazing indie horror lives and breathes in Canada. Like there are so many great authors. Tim McGregor, Ein Hollow, lives in
Mhm.
Toronto, like down the street from Little Ghost Books. If you go to Little Ghost Books and you buy a Tim McGregor book, it's probably signed, which is really cool.
Yeah, I
Um,
haven't been there yet. I mean, I need to.
oh, you have to go.
No.
It's my favorite place in the world. I put it into my GPS. I go to Toronto like 3, 4 times a year, and I just put that into my GPS. It's my first stop every single time.
I'm in Barrie. It's like probably like 45 minutes. I
You
should just
definitely,
go.
you should just go. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So are there any reads or releases that you're excited for coming out this year? Any highly anticipated ones?
I don't like really, as bad as it sounds, because I literally review books, I don't really pay attention to releases that much. Um, I think it's because I'm so inundated. Like I have so many arcs and I have so many books on my shelf that I'm trying to get through that if I start focusing on releases, then I'm never going to get to the books that I read right now. But I know like Ein Hollow is coming out soon. I'd say, look out for that one. I think that one's really going to take the community by storm for sure. Um, I know there's a V. Castro book coming out, and I can't remember the name of it. It's like Immortal something, but I have
Okay.
an eye on that one. Oh, Steve Strutt is releasing the second book to A Window in the Ground. That comes out in
Right.
March. So that one I'm also looking into, like very excited to read. But yeah, I don't maybe I should get better. knowing what's coming out in the near future.
Honestly, I only know Einhall is coming out because you mentioned it. So
Oh, there you go.
I don't know what's going on. Um, well, we're kind of running a little shorter on time. Is there any final thoughts you'd like to add in on this or anything you'd like to say?
Oh, I don't know. I think honestly, I would just say if you're looking at reading horror, or if you're reading horror and you've read a bunch of like Stephen King or Kuntz, like where we all started, just really take a shot at indie. I know it kind of seems like, maybe not for you, but for your average like reader, kind of like, oh, am I gonna like this? What is this? But really, the best horror out there is indie. It's small presses, it's uh in the extreme world. Like just really take a chance on these authors because it's so much better in my opinion. If you're a huge King lover, you might
Yeah.
disagree with me. But like when I started reading indie, I was like, yeah, this is what I've been missing. And that's why I try to promote it as much as humanly possible because I believe everybody should be reading indie horror.
Yeah, and it's relatively a little bit cheaper than
Yeah.
your Kings or
Hmm.
and I think you get more bang for your buck. You're helping some little guy, it's great. Yeah.
Exactly. And they all have 9 to 5s just like you and me, and they're just working on their dreams. So why not support that, especially because what they're giving us is so good.
Yeah, yeah. I found it fascinating that I was reading a post that Judith Sonnet made, and she said that No One Writes for Free was actually the book that allowed her to write full time. So she was
Really?
able to quit her job because of
Wow.
it,
That's
right?
amazing. I honestly didn't even know that. That's amazing. And did that not come out like recently too?
I think so. I I feel like I only just started seeing about it recently, but I'd only really joined the community kind of recently as well. So
When did you join in again?
I started J Ward Reads in July, June,
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah. Hmm.
I think somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. It's been really fun. I definitely didn't think that, like I kind of came into this just being like, I'm gonna get like 100 followers and just make some friends and talk about books that I don't see on here. And it grew into something that I couldn't really, imagine. Like now I'm writing, like I just wrote a column for an indie magazine, review column, and
All right.
you know,
Tell us more about that. What's the magazine?
yeah, so it's Last Girls Club. It's a small indie magazine, and it's mostly based online. And yeah, it's an indie press. It's a bunch of women. It has witchy vibes, and one of the editors is actually an author herself. Um, oh my gosh, what's the book called? RV Killer. Oh my God, I hate myself for forgetting right now, but I read a book earlier by her last year, which basically follows, two women that get in an RV and go after, pedophiles and just kill
I
them.
remember you reading that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was so much fun. And yeah, she reached out to me literally on New Year's and was like, I lost my columnist. Do you want to write for us? And it was so much fun. Like I definitely think that 2024 is going to be, obviously reading a lot and recommending still, but definitely I think writing reviews in a more professional manner is actually something that I really enjoy and want to, pursue more. So who knows?
Yeah, it would be fantastic to be able to turn something like this into a full-time endeavor. Right?
Would love that. If I could leave automotive, that would be great.
All right, you're working for Mercedes, right?
Too, yeah, and service, yeah. Long days, long days.
Yeah, customer service is wonderful. I love it so much. And if the sarcasm's not bleeding through, I'm being very sarcastic at times. I mean, there's occasionally I have some wonderful customers that
Of
I'll,
course.
but
Yeah.
not always.
Not always, unfortunately. You can
Yeah.
always tell like which customers and clients have worked in service and which have not. There's a
Yes.
difference for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked at a call center for 3.5 years. Anytime I call a provider and need something, I always get it because I know how to ask.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Just, I mean, be nice to service people wherever it is, and they will go above and beyond for you. Be mean, and you're not going to get what you want. So,
Yeah. So you're doing your reviews, you're now a columnist. And what are other future plans? Like anything in your 5-year plan or just big time dreams that you'd like to do?
gosh, honestly, my brain goes like a million different directions. I think about this a lot. I
Yeah.
would love, like, my biggest dream would be to open a horror bookstore. That's my biggest dream. Is it something that I can attain right now? Absolutely the fuck not in this
Oh,
economy.
no.
So, that would be like more of like my 10, 15-year goal maybe. But I think, writing that column the other day, it really kind of illuminated something in me. And I thought, how cool would it be to be a columnist, to do, maybe read books for presses, when they're being sent in for submission, and, work in a publishing company or something like that. Like, that would be my ultimate dream. Do I have a book in me? Probably. I just don't really have any ideas right now, and I don't care to pursue it. I'd rather be reading. But I genuinely enjoy what I do with reviewing and recommending books. And if I could turn that into a career of some kind, that would be the ultimate for me.
Yeah, that would be fun. I'd like to write. That'd be great.
Absolutely. Yeah,
All
maybe
right.
maybe open a press or something, an indie press.
I would love to open either a press or I've thought about it a lot this week in particular, like a small little studio to turn indie books into films to perhaps spread that even more.
That would be awesome. Maybe we
Yeah.
should open an indie press together. Fuck it. Start
I mean,
publishing books.
we're close enough to each other that it'd probably be feasible.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. We'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap this up. Where can anybody find you that might want to read your wonderful reviews?
Yeah, so you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram. It's Thathorrorbish, Bish. And my Twitter is different. It's That Pisces Bish, because it was originally my like personal one that I grew into my book one. But you can find me all over socials, and hit me up, DM me, ask me for recommendations, and I will give some to you.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on and thanks for doing the joint giveaway because I know I'm aware I get a lot more to gain from this than you do. And it's wonderful of you and
Thank you
you're
for
so
hosting.
kind.
So awesome. I'm very excited for it.
All right, perfect. Well, I'll talk to you later and you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, you too, Johnny. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it, guys. There was my interview with Kira, aka Thathorrorbish. I had so much fun with this one. I could talk about indie horror all freaking day long, but that's it for now. As she said, so that is it for today. I just want to thank Kira so much for coming on. I had such a blast with that one. And like she said at the end, you can find her on TikTok and Instagram at Thathorrorbish, Bish, and on Twitter at Bish, Bish. Jesus Christ, words are hard. And yeah, she's also a fellow Pisces, so represent. Anyways, I had a lot of fun with this one. I can talk about extreme horror or just horror in general all day long, hours on end. I definitely want to have her back on. We can talk about more stuff. Hopefully her column goes really well, blows up a little bit more. Anyways, I just want to thank you all for listening today. That's all I got. As the amazing Kyle Hebert is about to tell you in that classic DBZ narrator voice, that's all this time. Thanks so much. Peace.
That is all for today, but what kind of discussions will the one and only Johnny Ward get himself into next time? Will he discover a new collection to spend all his money on, or something to read for the next year and get depressed when it's done? Find out next time on the Nerdyverse of Madness.